Hello friends, welcome into NFL Daily. Hater Tom is back once again, but this time no hate being given out. Instead, we're taking a look at the very best undrafted free agency signings after the 2020 NFL Draft. Speaking of 2020, I got 20 players that will break down, beginning with Hunter Bryant. Now I'm going to do the same thing for all these players. A, of course, tell you where they went. Hunter Bryant going to the Detroit Lions. Tell you more about the player. Bryant was my number 3 tight end, a top 115 player on my board, really athletic. Think of that athletic move type end, almost a big slot receiver, potentially in the NFL. And then, of course, I'll try to take a guess as to why this player went undrafted. Look, Bryant didn't test nearly as well as hoped at the NFL Combine. My best guess here, and for the most part, these are all guesses, was the medical side of it. Certainly wasn't the production. Bryant balled out at Washington, but he had an ACL and an LCL sprain in his left knee in 2017, meniscus in his left knee as well in 2018, and had a back issue way back in high school. So my guess here is that it has to be the medical as for why Hunter Bryant went undrafted. Now, for most of these players, the real reason, I was too high on them, and that's okay. I was not too high on Anthony Gordon. I am very confident I was right that he should have been taken over dudes like Nate Stanley and Tommy Stevens. That's insane to me. So Seattle, look, I threw a lot of shade your way in the NFL Draft. This is a brilliant pickup. If you had taken him in round 4 or round 5, I would have loved that pick. To get him as an undrafted free agent, well done. He should have been taken. The production was awesome. I like some of the traits that are there. I am willing to move on from the, he played in the air raid offense. It's okay. They needed a backup quarterback, the Seattle Seahawks did. Now they've got one in Anthony Gordon. That was a brilliant move by the Seattle Seahawks. Now for me, Gordon was my biggest surprise in terms of players who went undrafted that I didn't think they should have been undrafted. So let me know in the comments which player you were most surprised ended up not being taken in the 2020 NFL Draft. Number 3 is Calvin Throckmorton, and I knew I was higher on him than most of the NFL, but I am willing to bet on the versatility. 52 straight starts at Oregon, 40 at right tackle, 5 at left tackle, 4 at right guard, 3 at center. He can play everywhere. He goes to the New Orleans Saints. He went undrafted because he's not a great athlete, but as like a 9th offensive lineman on your roster, I covet that versatility. Some more Saints pickups here because we're not done yet. Malcolm Roach, the defensive lineman, goes to Texas. He was at one point like an edge rusher for the Texas Longhorns, moved to defensive tackle this past year. Not great production, just 3 sacks, 9 tackles for loss as well. I wonder if maybe there was some medical stuff as well involved in this. He missed 9 games the past 2 seasons, foot and toe injuries, so the production probably the main reason, but I wanted to make note of the medical as well. Oh, look, the Saints got another player on my list, Joe BACHIE, the linebacker out of Michigan State. I actually thought I was too high on him, and I thought I was too low on him, and they would end up going higher than what he ended up going. Goes undrafted. Great production at Michigan State, kind of a throwback linebacker, though. He tested well, but he's got cover issues, and I think the main reason he might have gone undrafted, missed the final 5 games of his career at MSU after failing a random drug test for a supplement that counted as a performance-enhancing drug. So, of course, all of these players are based on my personal big board, and fit does matter. That's why I love the Anthony Gordon one so much, which is my answer to this question. But I want to hear from you guys. Who is your top undrafted free agent signing? I will make this the pinned comment of this video, so if you get the ad break here on YouTube, scroll down and let me know who you think it is. Number 6, the Jacksonville Jags. They can make a couple appearances on this list. J.R. Reed, who was a multi-year starter for the Georgia Bulldogs. I don't have a great reason why he went undrafted. I don't see a bunch of elite traits beyond, his length, and he's a pretty smart player despite being older. Missed a lot of tackles. Maybe that's the reason why there. He did play through a toe injury in the back half of 2019, made him miss the Sugar Bowl and the Senior Bowl. So I'm going to guess that medical here is a big reason why that J.R. Reed went undrafted in 2020. All right, to another defensive back. This one, a cornerback, Javaris Davis out of Auburn. This is the cousin, by the way, of Vernon and Vontae Davis. He played outside, inside at Auburn. He ran a 4.39. I would thought that that type of speed gets him drafted at the back end of the NFL draft. Instead, he goes to the Chiefs. I like that pickup a lot there. In the end, I think the lack of size really cost him in terms of where he ended up going, or should I say not going, in the NFL draft. There he is, number 8, Thaddeus Moss goes to the Washington Redskins, which, by the way, I love that fit for him. They needed tight end help, and I think Thaddeus Moss is a pretty high floor that can help him out and make an impact in the NFL. He might be the son of Randy. Guys, he plays nothing like his dad. He really doesn't. He didn't make anywhere near the amount of plays, and he's got athletic concerns. He's not very fast, despite having some of the best hands and being one of the best blockers at tight end this year in terms of tight ends. But the production kind of came in the back half of the year. I think most importantly, he's had multiple foot surgeries from 2019 through 2019, or 2018 through 2019, excuse me. I think that's the main reason why Moss went undrafted. But the athleticism, or lack thereof, was also a concern. My comp for him is actually Brent Selleck, and if you can sign Brent Selleck as a UDFA, you should be pretty darn happy. Now, during the NFL draft, we were not allowed to say Moss because you guys just kept asking about him over and over again. The draft is over, so don't let the producers know that they're not going to like it. But I want you guys to spam Moss in the comment section to celebrate Thaddeus Moss going to the Washington Redskins. Next up, number 9, Alex Taylor out of South Carolina State goes to the Cleveland Browns. He's a massive project at offensive tackle, but he's also a massive human being, over 6'8", 36-inch arms. He was my number 16 offensive tackle inside my top 200. I totally would have bet on that size in round 7. But you know what? As a UDFA, maybe he's a practice squad guy for the first couple years of his career, but the Browns can afford to take some time to develop somebody. I like that pick, or that move quite a bit by Cleveland. As a reminder, not many of these deals are official yet, and that was shown best by Quartney Davis, who had a deal in place with the Dallas Cowboys. Then the Minnesota Vikings showed up their offer to him, and he bails on Dallas and goes to Minnesota instead. I'm not really sure why he went undrafted. Look, the production wasn't great, but I had sleeper upside written all over him. Didn't test as well as hoped, and he wasn't used downfield, so you got some concerns on that one. But in a very strong receiver class, I thought for sure that Quartney Davis was going to get taken. Instead, the Vikings, who needed help at receiver, even after drafting some players, get more of it. Number 11, oh look, Jacksonville back on this list. They get James Robinson, who I comped, especially athletically, to Cameron Artis-Payne. I do have speed concerns with him, but he dominated at Illinois State this past year. 364 carries, 1,895 yards, and 18 touchdowns. He was a 2-time Walter Payton Award. That is the FCS Heisman Trophy finalist. I think being a small school guy kind of hurt him, but we've seen undrafted backs make an impact. I think Robinson has a chance to do that for the Jags. Number 12, Jared Pinkney out of Vanderbilt goes to the Atlanta Falcons. He was number 189 overall on my board, my number 10 tight end. Look, he dropped for 2 reasons. Number 1, athletic concerns. He ran a very poor 4.96 40-yard dash at about 260 pounds. That's bad. You don't want that. And then from 2018, when he had 50 grabs for 774 yards and 7 scores, he dropped down to 20, 233, and 2. Now, I blame the quarterback for that. I thought he was worth drafting late on day 3. For the Falcons to get him as a UDFA, it's a very strong pickup. Now, the NFL draft might be over, but we here at Chat Sports are not going anywhere. We're going to continue to pump out daily NFL videos for you guys. We'll do some NBA. We'll do some college football, some MLB as well, if you expand your horizons beyond just the National Football League. So if you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe today. The Denver Broncos check up next here with ESSANG BASSEY, the cornerback out of Wake, another speedy nickel corner that ended up going undrafted. 47 pass breakups the past 2 years. I know he's undersized. I know he's not a great tackler. I think that's why he ended up going undrafted and had a bit of a rough go at the Senior Bowl, but I would have taken this guy on day 3. Really good pickup here by the Denver Broncos. Number 14, the Kansas City Chiefs check in here on this list. Darryl Williams, the interior offensive lineman out of Mississippi State, really regressed this past year. It killed his draft stock. He just didn't play very well, but he was better at guard in 2018. So if I'm the Chiefs, I'm putting him back there and trying to get him back to that form. And maybe, just maybe, Kansas City ends up getting a nice UDFA pickup, and then he was worth drafting, at least in the later rounds. Of course, I thought all these guys were worth drafting. Now, the NFL rookie jerseys are available. The Chiefs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, chatsports.com/Chiefs1. CeeDee Lamb, the Cowboys, chatsports.com/Cowboys1. The Raiders had multiple first-round picks. It's chatsports.com/Raiders1. The common theme there, guys, chatsports.com, whatever your favorite team name is, Broncos, Seahawks, Colts, Raiders, Niners, and then add 1 on the end. It'll take you there to go check them out. You can pre-order them, and once the numbers are official, they'll ship them out to you. The Chiefs, again, showing up here. Didn't like what they did in the draft. I like what they're doing in the undrafted free agency side of things. LAVERT Hill, I think he went undrafted. He's not a big guy, and I think there were some athletic question marks as well. Didn't test the combine, which I think might have hurt him a little bit. He had issues against Ohio State and Alabama, but the production was actually pretty darn good at Michigan. I was surprised he went undrafted. Could be a nice competition pickup here for the Chiefs. Number 16, the Jets. I also loved what they did. JAVELIN GUIDRY is not a great football player right now, but he is one of the best athletes in this year's draft class. 4'2", and he's a good tackler. I thought that would have got him drafted for special teams. In the end, it did not happen, but GUIDRY fits what GM Joe Douglas appears to like in terms of prospects. The Carolina Panthers only went defense in the NFL draft, but they got the most productive receiver in all of college football last year at Arkansas State, OMAR BAYLESS. My comp for him, Allen Hurns. Look at these numbers. This is absurd, guys. So wait, how did he go undrafted? Well, he's not very fast. Not great drop rate. Played against a really bad group of competition at Arkansas State. His best chance to impress at Georgia didn't show up. I still would have drafted him for the production alone, so maybe he can make an impact in Carolina. Next up, the man with the best mustache in the entire NFL draft, John Molchon, the offensive lineman out of Boise. I think he went undrafted because A, he's not that strong, and B, despite being 6'5", he barely had 31-inch arms, so he's kind of got some small arms on that side. But kind of like Calvin Throckmorton, 34 starts at left guard, 6 at right tackle, 1 at left tackle, and then 1 at right guard. I would have drafted him for the versatility, but he might have to end up being a center in the NFL. So who had the best undrafted free agent class? I am sure that most of you are familiar with what your team did. So if that's the case, I am giving you complete permission to be a homer and just put your favorite team in. The Jets again show up here. Lamar Jackson, the cornerback out of Nebraska. My concern, and I actually thought he was going to go earlier than what I had him graded at, clearly I was wrong, was that he's going to be another Stanley Jean-Baptiste with great size, great length, but he's just not athletic enough. He was benched at various points over his college career. I don't think he always got along with some of the coaches, especially the ones who got fired at Nebraska. That might have been a potential concern for some NFL teams. And to round things out, we'll go to a running back, Michael Warren, a guy I did like. He is an absolute battering ram. He was 218 overall, my number 17 back. He a thick boy, folks. 5'9", 226. He could be a nice rotational piece there on the at the running back spot for Philadelphia. But he went undrafted because he's just not athletic enough. The production's great, but only a sub 5 yards per carry average. Breaks a ton of tackles, 76 this past year. Improved on his ball security, 5 fumbles 2018, 0 in 2019. He just went undrafted because of the athletic concerns. But for Philadelphia, as a rotational piece, that could end up working for the Eagles.